July 1951, 16-year-old Jeremiah Reeves and Mabel Crowder, a white woman, were caught having sex in her room. Crowder claimed she had been raped by Jeremiah, and he was immediately arrested and taken to Kilby Prison. Police strapped him into an electric chair, saying that he would be electrocuted unless he admitted to committing all of the rapes white women had reported that summer. He confessed to the charges. Though he soon recanted and insisted he was innocent, Jeremiah was convicted and sentenced to death after a 2-day trial where the all-white jury deliberated for less than 30 minutes. The black community knew that Jeremiah Reeves and Mabel Crowder had been involved in a consensual affair. The Montgomery NAACP became involved and helped attract the attention of lawyer Thurgood Marshall. These advocates were able to reverse Jeremiah's conviction on December 6, 1954, when the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the trial judge was wrong to prevent the jury from hearing evidence of the torture police used to get his confession. Roosevelt Parks exchanged letters with Jeremiah while he was jailed and helped him get his poetry published in the Birmingham World. At a second trial in June 1955, Jeremiah was again convicted and sentenced to death. This time, all appeals were denied. Jeremiah spent most of his time in prison writing poetry, and he willed his final poem to his mother. He was on death row until 1958, when he reached the minimum age for execution. He was executed on March 28, 1958. On April 6, 1958, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. spoke at a rally in Montgomery, Alabama. He decried Jeremiah Reeves' wrongful conviction and execution. As mourners and activists gathered peacefully, they were confronted by the KKK. Undeterred, Martin Luther King Jr. denounced the unequal treatment of white and black defendants and victims in the courts. Afterwards, 39 white ministers released a statement decrying the, quote, exaggerated emphasis on wrongs and grievances, unquote.
All right, Shalom. We are the Hebrew Israelites from the Indianapolis branch of the Great Millstone. We're here to give all praises, glory, and honor to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash.
Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and our fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, also known as your Israelite foreigners and your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. To you, we say Shalom.
Shalom.
All right, we are back with yet another installment of our camp series called For Thy Violence Against Thy Brother Jacob. And before we get into it, I just want to audibly declare fair use, according to the Copyright Act of 1976 concerning the stipulations outlined in Section 107. All right, our topic for today is going to be from the EJI website, History of Racial Justice, and it's dealing with the execution of Jeremiah Reeves, as you see on the screen right now. Before we get into it, we'll get the opening scripture.
Obadiah chapter 10 says, For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever.
Khan. Yeah, Obadiah verse 10, chapter 1, verse 10 says, it's the violence against that brother Jacob. That's talking about Esau, Edom, who is the so-called a white man, okay? The wicked, according to Malachi 1 and 4. And it's continually talking about his violence against us. He has had a perpetual hatred against the children of Israel, your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and those scattered abroad, okay? And he says that the shame shall cover them. And right now, their tumultuous and wretched and wicked history is catching up with them right now. Okay, they're being exposed. According to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. The scriptures talk about the shameful spewing of this individual. It's gonna mess up his glory. His glory is gone in the sight of the rest of the world. All right, and it says he's going to be cut off forever. So we know the time is near where he's going to be judged. Okay, and as beloved elder Apostle Tahar declared this year, 2025, as the hopeful year of our deliverance and a destruction and judgment of Esau, Edom. Okay, and that's what we're hastening for. All right, by continually pressing this word out, this truth about the true children of Israel and the downfall of Esau, Edom. All right.
And just was going into that shame. It's bringing shame or disgrace. This is a condition of humiliating disgrace. Something that brings reproach.
Mm-hmm.
And it says painful emotion caused by a consciousness of guilt, shortcoming. And we know that, through his pride, he actually doesn't feel guilty, you know, but he will have that shame that's going to cover him in the sense of everybody's going to look at him the way that he posted himself to be. When you hear white people, you know, he created that construct in the 1600s. You got the white people, and then you have the black people. White meaning purity, and black meaning void of light, evil, wicked. And now we're seeing through the history, you know, his conduct and everything that he's done. As if we someone get real quick, grab John 10:10.
This is the book of John, chapter 10, verse 10, and this is Yahweh Shai speaking in the red letter. It says, "The thief cometh not, but for to steal, and to kill, and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly." And so
you're starting to see a difference between those who are of the righteous, you know, and those that are of the wicked. And the thief cometh not, but to steal, kill, and destroy. And when you go through the violence, the violent history of even how America was established, and then how they've gone throughout all of the places throughout the earth, you know, and how they established themselves, you see that it's been nothing but the taking of minerals, the heaping themselves of people, and sicknesses, pestilences, diseases, have been all throughout. Even looking at the violence against thy brother Jacob series, how we've gone through those things, and Brother Amawan always brings it up. We've just skimmed the surface, you know, the tip of the iceberg, so to speak, of the atrocities and the things that they have done. First and foremost, well, to the whole world, but first and foremost to the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, because they have that perpetual hatred. Can you get Psalm Proverbs 29? Yeah.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, and verse 2. It says, "When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice."
So at currently, present moment, present time, the righteous are not in authority.
Right.
Okay. Now there was a one point in time where we, you know, as far as there was people rejoicing, at least those people being so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, under the time of Solomon, the 40 years of peace and prosperity. The people, you know, had a rejoicing moment. Okay, but we're not in that time. Ever since then, the kingdom has been rent, been split, we've been scattered, and we've gone into all types of atrocities. Deuteronomy 28 has followed us all throughout, even to this very day. Now, these very curses are going to transition over unto them, but as we can see, the righteous aren't in authority. All right, what's the next one?
It says, "But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn."
So as you can see, the people are in mourning, and again, the most important people of them all is the elect of the children of Israel. You know, are current constant mourning. They're out in the highways and byways, crying out loud, sparing not. You know, lifting up their voice like a trumpet. You know, showing the people their transgressions, but also speaking in truth into power for all these things that are going on unto us.
Speaking truth to power, this is with the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33. Oh, it's lucky. Got it jammed up. Verse 29.
God.
Deuteronomy 33, verse 29, and it reads, "Happy art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee, O people, saved by Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, the shield of thy help, and who is the sword of thy excellency." Okay, and we know he's coming back with that sword to defend his people. Okay, and that day of judgment, according to Matthew 10 and 28, 34, one of those? 34.
Just get it real quick.
Yeah.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 10, and verse 34. It says, and this is Yahweh Shai speaking in the red letter, it says, "Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword."
And that's that sword. He's coming back with those chariots, with the concentrated laser beams. The elect who are going to have that spiritual power, okay, to come back and bring. He's not coming in peace. He's coming to establish a peace. He has to get rid of this wicked nation of Edom, okay, and those nations that also helped him bring them under subjection. All right.
So read the next part.
Mm-hmm.
It says, "For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a man's foes shall be they of his own household."
So at the time, again, we mentioned that there's when the wicked are in authority, right, the people mourn, right?
Mm-hmm.
But part of that mourning is this confusion, right? So now the Lord is now bringing again a variance, a difference between people, whether it be starting with the men of the Lord, bringing forth the true doctrine, and all the other false prophets that are in, because it's with the house of Israel, but then you also have the other nations who are completely divided amongst themselves. You're seeing, he told you when he comes, perilous times shall come.
Mm-hmm.
Will men be lovers of themselves, boasters, lovers of themselves, of pleasures more than the Most High, right? So there's going to be complete chaos upon his time. He said that there's another scripture he talks about when he comes, there should be a fire already kindled.
Mm-hmm.
All right, which is pretty much he's just going to stoke the fire, is going to continue to be stoked until he return and continue and go ahead and do away with everything. All right, by thermonuclear fire, as you were saying.
Yep.
Yeah. Yahweh said, "I'm come to set fire on earth, and what will I if it already be kindled?" So, really, what Yahweh says is that he's gonna add the fuel to the fire, because shit's already gonna be going on. Before Yahweh returns. These famines, diseases. People fighting against one another with the sword, martial law. Spirits manifesting themselves, unknown and newly created wild beasts. So all these things are going to be happening all at once, right before Yahweh returns. And when Yahweh returns, he's going to add that fuel to the fire, all right, by raining down upon his place with the nukes and the concentrated fire laser beams coming from the chariots.
Mm-hmm.
God. And why are we going into all of this? For the violence against our brother Jacob.
Yep.
All right, because this is for the elect of the children of
Precept.
Israel.
Yeah, he said he's going to plead for his people.
Yep.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 34, verse 8. It says, "For it is the day of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai's vengeance, and a year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion."
God.
You see? And we know recompenses goes into payback. So just like back then during the time of ancient Egypt, where the Egyptians were heavily afflicting the Lord's children, the children of Israel, and Pharaoh's heart was being hardened and he wouldn't let them go. And the Lord just kept sending more plagues and plagues and plagues upon America. Guess what? The Lord's going to do the same thing with modern day Egypt.
Yep.
All right, like he said in 2 Kings 15, "I will smite Egypt with plagues as before." So everything we read about that took place in Egypt is going to come back to modern day Egypt, spiritual Egypt, aka America, and it's going to be way worse this time.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, like Brother Baraj just said, the Lord is doing this because of your violence against your brother Jacob, man.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, and just back to that Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 29. It says, "Happy art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee, O people saved by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, the shield of thy help, and who is the sword of thy excellency." It says, "And thine enemies shall be found liars unto thee, and thou shalt tread upon their high places." And that's what we're doing right now, bringing out this history, let you know what this devil has done to the nation of Israel over time, okay? Continually, he has had that perpetual hatred going all the way back to Genesis chapter 27, verse 41. His number one goal was to destroy Jacob, and he's been doing, fulfilling his role as the sword of the Lord. Okay, according to Psalm 17:13, and then he said that he does not bear the sword in vain. He's been fulfilling his role. Okay, and now the elect of Israel are fulfilling theirs. Okay, and they've been found liars. That's what they hate, is their history. You know, we just had a guy come up to the camp last Wednesday, and not last Wednesday, but the Wednesday before, and call us the new KKK. You know, because they hate that truth. All right, and how is that? You know, we haven't gone around, burning crosses, hanging folks, blowing up churches and stuff like that. No, we stand on the street and preach right out of the Bible, and this word is cutting you, left and right.
Do you have that? Hebrews?
Yeah.
Is it 6 and 12? Or 12 and 6? I always need
Four.
4? See, yeah.
4 and 12. Yeah.
Okay.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 4 and verse 12. It says, "For the word of the Most High, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, is quick and powerful, and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart."
Yep. So like when they used to have that saying, "Words never hurt." Sticks and stone, they break my bones, but words will never hurt. No, words do hurt.
Yeah.
The word of the Lord, right? Because he also said, "I would make my word as fire unto them." Mm-hmm. So yeah, this word burns, it cuts, and that goes for all those who come against Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai.
Mm-hmm.
And so and like you said, you're bringing out the word, and sometimes people project. When they come at you, they project the things that they are. So they call him the calling you, the brothers, the KKK. It's probably the real spirit that he's coming under.
Right.
So, anything else?
No.
All right, we can go right into it.
Okay, let's go ahead and get into the article. This is again, its title is from the EJI. We will put a link of this article in the description box of the video. And it's titled, "Alabama Executes Jeremiah Reeves After Police Torture Him into a False Confession." And it starts out, on March 28th, 1958, a 22-year-old black man named Jeremiah Reeves was executed by the state of Alabama after police tortured him until he gave a false confession as a 16-year-old child. Okay, and we know according to the law, it doesn't say that his parents were present. You're supposed to have an attorney present when you're a minor like that, or any person. It says in July 1951, Jeremiah, who was a 16-year-old high school student at the time, and Mabel Ann Crowder, a white woman, were discovered having sex in her home. Ms. Crowder claimed she had been raped by Jeremiah, and he was immediately arrested and taken to Kilby Prison for questioning. And right here, how did he get in her home? How did he? She had to let him in, and this is a plague throughout history, where the downfall of us and our communities at times was at the cries of a white woman's tears, and it still works today. We see that in real time. All right. It says Miss Crowder claimed she had been raped by Jeremiah, and he was immediately arrested and taken to Kilby Prison for questioning. Police strapped the frightened boy into the electric chair and told him that he would be electrocuted unless he admitted to having committed all of the rapes white women had reported that summer. Wow. Okay. It says, under the terrifying pressure, he falsely confessed to the charges in fear. Though he soon recanted and insisted he was innocent, Jeremiah was convicted and sentenced to death after a 2-day trial, during which an all-white jury deliberated for less than 30 minutes. So, they knew what they were going to do ahead of time. 2 days and 30 minutes. It's like, for like 47 hours and 30 minutes, they knew what they were going to do. Can you grab Proverbs 4 and 16?
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 16. It says, "For they sleep not except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall."
Mm-hmm. So you got to figure that it was 2 days. They were probably up that whole time, knowing what they was going to do to that to that Jake, and then deliberated in 30 minutes. They said He confessed to committing all those rapes that happened that summer. And you know, we were talking about at the camp to watch the movie Rosewood. Turns out it was a so-called white man who was guilty of raping women and then blaming a Jake. You know, that was very common in that time, very common for now. All right. So yeah, like I said, they sleep not. So they were probably that whole time building a case on this guy, on this Jake, to have to get him executed. All right. Back into the article, it says the local black community believed, and in some cases knew, that Jeremiah Reeves and Mabel Crowder had been involved in an ongoing consensual affair. Concerned about the
read that one time.
It says the local black community believed, and in some cases knew, that Jeremiah Reeves and Mabel Crowder had been involved in an ongoing consensual affair.
Yeah, so I can make like an assumption that there probably was some older folks that said to him like, "Hey, you better leave that woman alone." I'm just make the assumption of that because they spoke up a little bit more back then.
Yeah,
probably wouldn't speak against the so-called white woman, but they probably had said something to him before, because for him to be in there and then they were discovered, it seemed like they was very comfortable. I'm just kind of painting a picture, as to how they could have been, discovered. And of course, if you're discovered, not at one point does it say, we know the story now, but it said that she was screaming for help or anything like that when they were discovered. That would have been something they would have definitely brought out in information, like we heard screams and we came in and she was yelling for help, but
yeah, this is just the way it was at that time, man. And even to this day, some Jakes still get in trouble. They can be married to him, have kids by him, and boom, one little cry and he's gone. Look what happened to old boy Majors, Jonathan Majors. Okay, says concerned about the injustice of the young man's conviction, the Montgomery NAACP became involved and helped attract the attention of national lawyer Thurgood Marshall. These advocates were able to win reversal of Jeremiah's conviction on December 6, 1954, when the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the trial judge had been wrong to prevent the jury from hearing evidence of the torture police used to get his confession. Man. And to this day, they're still doing that. When you go into a case, the prosecution and the defendant agree on what evidence is going to be presented in court, which is totally against the scriptures. It tells us to examine the whole matter before thou blame. Is that Sirach 11 and 7? You can grab that for me right quick.
This is Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 11 and verse 7. It says, blame not before thou hast examined the truth. Understand first and then rebuke.
Yeah, and how you going to understand when you don't have the whole matter? How you going to examine it if you don't have everything at your fingertips, exhausted all options? No, they were hell-bent on getting this kid convicted. All right? Which is what they did. All right? It says, going on, Jeremiah's case also became a flashpoint for Montgomery's nascent civil rights movement. Claudette Colvin, who was arrested at 15 for refusing to give up her seat to a white woman on a Birmingham bus in March 1955, was inspired to take that protest action as a show of support for Jeremiah, her friend and schoolmate. Ms. Colvin later became one of the 4 plaintiffs in Browder versus Gale, the case that led the Supreme Court to order buses desegregated in 1956. Rosa Parks exchanged letters with Jeremiah while he was jailed and helped him to get his poetry published in the Birmingham World. She went on to repeat Ms. Colvin's protest in December 1955, facing arrest for resisting bus segregation and sparking the Montgomery bus boycott.
Yeah, so, and that's what's happening even to this day. Something happens to so-called black, Hispanic, Native Indian, people go into protest. Um, and in most cases, nothing comes out of it. You know, when you look at just the list, the first one, that they've made, huge, George Floyd. Was the other young guy prior to him? With the he was in his neighborhood. Can't think of his name.
Was it when the two Edomites was chasing them down?
Well, it's the one guy.
That was Ahmaud Arbery.
Well, him.
Yeah.
See, so it's like you got a list of just things happening, but a lot of these things are happening because our people aren't turning to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai for protection. We're not. And again, during this time, a lot of our people were in churches.
Yeah.
They had the book. And they weren't doing what the book has said. And again, we came up in many of these churches, and now that the Lord has shown us the true light, and how we should conduct ourselves and be, we now can look and see that a lot of our people weren't. They were still eating bad foods, abominable foods. You start to see the women, again in this case, asserting themselves to the forefront. But a lot of this was orchestrated, NAACP, coming into today's time, BLM, and who actually was the ones, started and financed a lot of this stuff, infiltrating and causing more confusion.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yep. This is back into the article. It says, at a second trial in June 1955, Jeremiah was again convicted and sentenced to death. This time, all appeals were denied. Jeremiah had spent much of his time in prison writing poetry, and he willed his final poem to his mother. He remained on death row until 1958, when he reached what was considered the minimum age for execution. And here again, at the beginning it said they got him to confess to all of the rapes that had happened that summer. So, he got off of that one, and they came back and got him again for those other ones. Because I do believe, and don't quote me, there's a thing called double jeopardy in court. You can't be retried for the same crime that you were found not guilty of. But here again, when he confessed to all of those, they had him all potentially, this is just me speaking, probably had all of those lined up just to get him. Depending on how many of those rapes occurred. It could have been 2, could have been 3, could have gone on forever. But they were going to get him on something. All right. This is back into the article. It says, on April 6, 1958, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. spoke at an Easter rally in Montgomery, Alabama. Standing on the marked spot on the Capitol steps where Jefferson Davis had been sworn in as President of the Confederacy in 1861, Dr. King decried Jeremiah Reeves' wrongful conviction and execution, which had been carried out a little over a week before. As mourners and activists gathered at the Capitol for the rally, they were confronted by the Ku Klux Klansmen determined to disrupt the peaceful demonstration. Right? Undeterred, Dr. King forcefully denounced the unequal treatment of white and black defendants and victims in the courts. Truth may be crucified and justice buried, he declared, but one day they will rise again. We must live and face death if necessary with that hope. It says afterward, a group of 39 local white ministers released a statement decrying the activists, exaggerated emphasis on wrongs and grievances. Man, see these so-called ministers, white ministers, that's the same evangelicals today. It's talked about all the time. How they are the worst. As a matter of fact, they preaching out of the Bible and got it all wrong. Psalms 50, what's that, 16, 17, talks about Esau, how he's cast away and struck. You want to grab that?
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 50, beginning of verse 16. It says, but unto the wicked the Most High saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest takest my covenant in thy mouth?
God, he has absolutely nothing to do with it. The statutes and the covenant is with Jake, according to Psalms of 50 and 5 and Psalms 147 verse 19 and 20. Okay? Psalms 147 verse 19 and 20 says he has not dealt with any other nation. You know, only Jacob has known his laws and statutes. Okay? Roughly paraphrased. So why is he even messing with the Bible? That's because, you know, they had a hand, Edom, along with Amalekite and the Amalek, who are your so-called Jewish people today, along with other nations, according to Psalms 83, to make sure we didn't know who we were, you know, and destroy our heritage. All right? Go ahead.
It says, seeing thou hatest instruction, and castest my words behind thee, when thou sawest a thief, then thou consentest with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. Hey, you know, hey, that's all Esau does towards Jacob, man. It brings slander and you know, evil upon the nation of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hey, anytime, you know, Esau makes Jake the face of crime. You know, here it is. Esau done all this evil throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, during his time of rulership. Okay, he's all his evil and slavery and things of that nature. But when it comes to shootings and crimes, things of that nature, all right, Esau plasters the face of Jake. All right, on the news, man. You know, so he's trying to make Jake the face of wickedness.
Mm-hmm. You, Barab brought out that definition of shame, right?
Yeah.
Shame earlier. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 23, and verse 15. And it reads, the man that is accustomed to opprobrious words will never be reformed all the days of his life. Okay, and that word opprobrious means to continually to bring shame and disgrace. Okay, and that's what, you know, you saw in this case as in many other cases. You know, finding a reason, whatever, to bring shame and disgrace to the nation of Edom. Okay, and Jake has a hand in a lot of that by doing stupid stuff. You know, that he becomes the face of a lot of Esau's wickedness. You know, that's talked about in Jeremiah 2 and 33, where it says, why hast thou turnest thy way to seek love? Hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways? Okay, now we become the face of that evil. You know, and Jake, you know, doesn't realize, a lot of Jake don't realize, you can't do the same thing that this man does. Okay, he gets a slap on the hand. All right, and you get the punished to the fullest extent of the law.
Well, the law in the scriptures, the Lord said, "I will punish you 7 times more for your transgressions."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And this is the same. Wasn't that lady? They got shot in the face in Alabama recently. Was that Alabama? She was shot in the face. They called the police, and you know, he came in, and she saw it was getting heated, and you know, she said that false name, and he shot her 3 times. 2 of the bullets are hitting her in the face. You know, and now they talking about letting him go home and be with his family. You know, that's just how wicked this devil is. I forget his name.
Well, I got a quick.
Go ahead.
It's Isaiah 47. Just going straight to the point. This is dealing with the old virgin daughter of Babylon, which is today America. So just getting straight to the point. So he's speaking shame. It says, "Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen, and I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man." So, brother had brought out, you know, the vengeance that's coming from Yahweh Bashim Shai when he returns. There's going to be all of this. There's going to be this great divide amongst the people, these infightings, wars, rumors of wars. But then, mainly, in today's time, the other nations have been and currently seen all the things that you've done to the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. All these years, they've seen how you've treated the Israelites, right? And then how you've also have been treating your own people.
Mm-hmm.
So I can get that. He that's to himself. His
Got it.
um.
Sirach 14:5.
I got it.
Go ahead.
Sirach, or Ecclesiastes chapter 14, verse 5. It says, "He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods."
So pretty soon you're gonna all the things that you've done, like the substance that you have gained, you know, the things that you've stolen. The scriptures talk about how you're gonna pay sevenfold. You're gonna completely give that back.
Mm-hmm.
Job speaks about you vomited it back up.
Yep. Con.
And so it has to be, everything has to be uncovered. Like Yahweh Shai, was talking to the Israelites, the southern kingdom, mainly at the time. He was like, one stone shall not be uncovered,
Mm-hmm.
And so that's even going for, from the top elites, even down to the very bottom, as you're noticing, starting with the house of Israel, but then you're starting to see that everybody is being exposed.
Mm-hmm.
There's like an expose,
Yeah.
which is even more important. How just thinking, how our apostles and elders have told us how we need to, be on point. How we should be tightening up and how we should conduct ourselves that much the more. I know it's kind of going, won't go too far away from the subject, but because a lot of things are going to be uncovered. We're starting to see who the true men are, which that's an uncovering, because to see these are the men, but then they're going to discern, as the scriptures say, who's not following Yahweh Shem Shai, and that's actually being pushed that much more to the forefront.
Con.
All right, and on top of that, those who are choosing, who people are coming on and they're denouncing, pretty much you're denouncing Yahweh Shem Shai. You're denouncing the studies, the teachings.
Mm-hmm.
You're scoffing against the men of the Lord instead of being quiet and just keep it to yourself. So people are marking themselves as we speak as well. So there's a lot that's going on within this system to even show that much more the decline and the downfall of this place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now I was gonna say, even with that denouncement, you got a lot of videos going out now. You see a lot of the elders and other brothers doing videos on. These are people talking about I'm no longer a Hebrew Israelite. How are you not a bloodline? That's that same mindset of the Skittles nation. You trying to tell somebody that you're not what anybody with any eyesight can see that you are. Okay, you can't just say that you're not. That's a bloodline, but that's that the Lord got that stumbling block on him. He ain't anybody who says that. You realize it's not a religion; it's your heritage. Okay, to be an Israelite of the 12 patriarchs, of the 12 tribes of Israel. All right.
Yeah, and in the end, like I said, it's going to be known who is chosen.
Con.
And then wisdom of Solomon, like shame, is going to be covered. People are going to be like, "Is this we had some time in derision?"
Mm-hmm.
That goes for 2/3 of our people. There's also going to be like, "Man, you done got on here and you denounced the very thing that was for you."
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I said, as you do this, the top elites, are doing it amongst, their own people. How much more, they're gonna, bring down or affect everybody else that's around them, to cause them to fall, and to go off, in many different ways. When in actuality, you have the true men in these days teaching, saying this is the way,
Mm-hmm.
I won't go too far.
Right.
Yeah.
No, yeah, but back to the thing, get back to the original scripture. Esau's going to be cut off forever. The scriptures say that he will not have any mercy. You want to get James 2 and 13, then I can go into more detail with it.
This is the book of James, chapter 2, verse 13. It says, "For he shall have judgment without mercy that has showed no mercy, and mercy rejoiceth against judgment."
Mm-hmm. So yeah, even the Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary says that Edom, and this is their own scholars, says the only nation that is a neighbor of Israel that will not receive mercy in that day of judgment. Okay, you will not receive mercy. When you go down into Obadiah 1 verse 18, it says, Judah and Jacob and
There, I got it.
go ahead.
The book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 18. And it says, "And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord has spoken it."
God. So yeah, that's the order of the Lord. And that house of Jacob is the southern kingdom, and Joseph is the northern kingdom. That's the whole nation of Israel coming together, in that day when that judgment is exacted upon them via Yahweh Bashem Yahushai to destroy them after they've served in their captivity twice as long and twice as hard in righteousness. They're going to be extinguished from the earth forever, and they know, the elites know this. Okay, and these lower level Edomites are starting to feel it. They know something is wrong. You're seeing a lot of stuff, but like he said, he's going to have no mercy on them.
Well, and to your point, they were created to be the wicked.
Yep.
They were created to be contrary to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Like I said, can a leopard change his spots? Or Ethiopian his skin, right? So they're accustomed. Their full makeup was made to be against Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and his laws, and to cause people to go, as they do. They cause people to go off. And everywhere they go, they push their philosophy and their doctrine. So when you think about in the kingdom, how can you have everlasting peace and everlasting prosperity when you have a thief stealing, killing, destroying, amongst you, that's always trying to figure out how to be clever and crafty to disrupt unity, under Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So of course, eventually, they would have to, do away with these people.
Con. I had two precepts to back you up.
Okay.
The first is just to say how he was created. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 33, began in verse 13. It says, "As the clay is in the potter's hand to fashion it at his pleasure," and that potter is Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and the clay is the people, but it's going to get to specific people here. It says, "So man is in the hand of him that made him to render to them as liketh him best." Okay, and we know according to Romans 9 that there's a vessel of honor, which is Jacob, the 12 tribes of Israel, and a vessel of dishonor, which is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Okay, verse 14, it says, "Good is set against evil, and life against death. So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly." Okay, and that's that's that balance, that the Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has in the earth. Proverbs 11:1 says a false balance is an abomination to the Lord. But he likes a just weight. A just weight is his delight. Okay.
You got more?
Yeah.
All right.
It says, "So look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are two and two, one against the other." So we know for a fact this is the way it's set up. And like you said, if we're going to live in peace, this devil has to be gone. And even after the destruction, we know the scriptures say, I believe it was Isaiah 26:10, "Let favor be shown to the wicked, to the wicked, yet he will not learn righteousness." So we're going to always have something to judge in the kingdom until this nation of people are gone.
And even after that, because the other nations, they still have to follow the order, because they're gonna come, let us walk into the house of the Lord, who can teach us His ways. We're gonna be a nation, a kingdom of priests. We're gonna be rulers. We're gonna rule over the whole entire earth. Let me get this real quick, just because he quoted it. This is the book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 20, and just going straight to the point. He says, let me see, 20. 19. It says, "Thou wilt say then unto me, Why doeth he yet find fault? For who has resisted his will?" So everything is under the orchestrate. Is orchestrated by Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Right, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, and as rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. All right, so yeah, he has complete control. So people think this whole thing about free will, there isn't any. The Lord controls all, right? And we delight in that because he's put us in a position that we're in to this very day. And if you come into this knowledge and this truth and you can accept it, that's a very good thing because he's brought you to this place. So but going further, he says, "Nay, but O man, who art thou that repliest against the Most High? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, Why hast thou made me thus?" He says, "Have not the potter," going back to your point, "power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another vessel unto dishonor?" So when you think about I used to think in the past, when I read this, I always thought about like if you were a creator, you were the artist, and you've made 2 cups, right? You created both of these cups, and you said, out of the 2 cups, this one I hate it, and I love this one. And anybody that came along into your home or you showed these cups to them, you made it known that I love this cup and I hate this cup, though you made them both. Okay, and so the Creator have all power to decide what he wants to do with the things in which he created, pretty much. Yeah.
You got anything?
Yeah, this is Isaiah chapter 10, verse 15. It says, "Shall the axe boast itself against him that heweth therewith? Or shall the saw magnify itself against him that shaketh it? As if the rod should shake itself against them that lift it up, or as the staff should lift up itself, as if there were no wood." You see, so point is, man, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua controls all. And the Lord has created everything and everybody for a certain purpose. And no one can step outside the purpose that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua has created him for. So just like Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, was created to be the wicked, guess what? He can't step outside of that. The scripture tells us that it's impossible for this dude to learn righteousness. So, hey, man, everything is going to go according to the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua at the end of the day.
We have more in the article?
No, that's it on the article. But I just wanted to go into that James. Can you read that James 2 and 13 again? And then go a little bit deeper on how Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is going to handle not having mercy.
And for those who hear this, what's the point? Because we just went into this article, and then we bring to bring it all back home, is that this man was created to do a job. Right. And now we've come up in these last days, and he made a trail. He had a breadcrumbs, that he left, a trail for now the men have raised up. We're reading the scriptures, and we're saying, okay, this is the wicked. This is what he's doing. We're looking at the scriptures, and now we're seeing a plethora of evidence to prove that who he is, which then goes back to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua's word being true. He's uncovering who he is, so that when judgment comes in the end, there's he's completely justified. He's justified anyway, but he's going to make it known to the world why he's bringing these things, and he's doing it by the mouth of the prophets. All right, so you see this one particular video, but then there's this is 101 or 102 102nd of, and then that does not include the things that we have not touched, the things that we have not seen that he has done that can't even be spoken of, things that he's doing in secret that only the angels and the Lord are seeing, that we have not, the other angels, should we say, if you can receive that, but it's still being watched. Because the scripture talk about the eyes of the Lord on this kingdom.
10,000 times brighter than the sun.
That which was then is now. Because the time of was it Amos that the scripture came in, the eyes of the Lord on this kingdom, that which was then is now.
Yep.
So that hasn't changed. Go ahead.
Yep.
And even back then, it was referring to the nation of Israel, but
Right.
we use it to apply to America today. Because
Yeah.
when you look at America, hey, there's nothing righteous about this country,
Yep.
man. All right. The only thing that goes on in this place is wickedness. You can serve whatever God you want to. Our adultery is highly exalted in this place, and just wickedness in general. You
Man,
see,
to your point, Ezekiel, like I like that. Like just before the judgment was coming, he actually said, he showed Ezekiel, like look what they're doing. They make it Israel baking cakes to God, goddess of heaven. He's doing all type of different worshiping. The men, elders of the city, was behind the doors doing different types of sacrifice and rituals. Just all throughout. So the Lord was seeing it all, and He was showing it, and He was uncovering it to Ezekiel.
Yep.
And many of the prophets. Because the Lord would do nothing, but He revealeth His secrets to the servants of the prophets. So in order to see the certain things that are going on, it has to be revealed unto the prophets.
So the prophets, like Nathan and and David. Yeah. He wasn't there right then and there, but Prophet Nathan knew.
Yep.
Nathan knew. Yeah.
Yep. So it even goes for us, in these times. So that's why I said it's that much more important that we be on point. Let's go and get that James and
I'm going deeper on that verse. Read that James 2:13 again.
this is James chapter 2 and verse 13. It says, "For he shall have mercy, for he shall have judgment without mercy that hath showed no mercy, and mercy rejoiceth against judgment."
Okay, and this is Psalms 109, and this is David speaking. I'm gonna read verses 1 and 2, just to get context of who this is. It's talking about the wicked Esau Edom. This is verse 1. It says, "To the chief musician, a psalm of David, hold not thy peace, O power of my praise, for the mouth of the wicked and the mouth of the deceitful are open against me. They have spoken against me with a lying tongue." And that was evident in this in the details of this article we just read. Okay, now with respect to James 2 and 13, I'm gonna skip down to Psalms 109 verse 12, and it reads, "Let there be none to extend mercy unto him, neither let there be any favor to his fatherless children." Verse 13, "Let his posterity be cut off, and in the generation following let their name be blotted out." Okay, and that posterity, when you go into that word, it's dealing with the progenitor all the way to future generations, okay, of a nation. And we're talking about the nation of Edom, who is the wicked, according to Malachi 1 and 4. Okay, it says, verse 14, "Let the iniquity of his fathers be remembered with Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and let not the sin of his mother be blotted out." So the so-called women of that nation too. We've said before in previous videos, it was a so-called white woman who had 43% ownership of slaves. Okay, you get that account in the book called "We Were Her Property." Okay, because a lot of those slave masters didn't have sons to leave an inheritance to, so they left it to their daughters. 43% of them. And it says, verse 15, "Let them be before Yahweh Bashem Yahushua continually, that he may cut off the memory of them from the earth." Okay, and that's just what he's going into. They're going to go extinct.
Right.
According to Obadiah 1 and 18. All right.
Yeah.
You got something?
You got more?
Yeah, just a little bit more. And this is just to close it up. It says, "Because that he remembered not to show mercy, but persecuted the poor and the needy man, that he might even slay the broken in heart." Verse 17, "As he loved cursing, so let it come unto him. As he delighted in not blessing, so let it be far from him." And we know, according to Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 7, the curses that were upon us are now being lifted and going onto them. And they're going to get the same thing. So that's just to go into detail about that James 2 and 13 on who that mercy would not be shown to and why. All right?
No, that's it.
All right.
Close.
All right, so with that, we hope this lesson was edifying to the elect body of the nation of Israel. Once again, we're going to give all praises, glory, and honor to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash.
Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who grew well in teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and our fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth, that be like to the speckled bird, also known as your Israelite foreigners and your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. To you we say Shalom.
Shalom.
Kwam Yasharala.
Kwam Yasharala.
Abba Babal.
Abba Babal.
Shalom.